everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a detailed look at the new Batmobile, which is the Batman Forever Batmobile with 909 pieces. This one here is going to be available starting on August 1st here in 2025 with a suggested retail price of $100 US or 130 Canadian dollars. 909 pieces. At first, I thought, oh my gosh, this is some tiny little Batmobile and it's $100. That's crazy. But it turns out that is not the case. It is actually quite sizable, and it does come with the Val Kilmer Batman minifigure. Overall, the build was really cool. It displays really well, but it is definitely lacking something. So let's check it out. Big shout out to LEGO for providing this set early to reveal and review. At first glance, oh man, doesn't this thing look cool? Yeah, that thing is awesome. Honestly, the pictures online don't really do it justice. I thought it was much smaller than this, but look at that. It's actually a pretty sweet scale. I like that. And it's built in like layers. You can see some of the trans light blue detail underneath there. And the way it was constructed was a lot of fun, but it is lacking some stuff. First off, we've got our minifigure here, so it's definitely not lacking a Batman minifigure. It comes with a pretty cool figure, which is on a display stand. The display stand, it's not the greatest. Just some trans light blue window glass elements there on one of those modified bricks with the forward-facing studs. And the studs that are forward-facing are actually topped with sort of half-round jumpers so that you can place your minifigure in the center. And then you get the 2x6 printed tile. Really happy that that is printed. Got the Batman Forever logo, Batman Forever, and also the LEGO logo. So yeah, that's pretty killer, but I think the stand is a bit lacking. And also it is to be noted that the Batmobile itself does not come with a stand. And when you have a look at the box art, it almost looks like it should. You know, they created this like pad that the Batmobile sits on. That might be a good addition to the displayability aspect of this set. The Batman minifigure is a really neat color. You can see it's like that dark metallic silverish color, and so is the cape. The cowl is dual molded, so you can see he actually has like the light blue eyes within the cowl. And then he has two different faces. So there's serious Batman and not quite as serious Batman. He comes with a Batarang, and I do like the print detailing on the torso. However, there is no print detailing on the legs and also on the arms. This is a really nice rubberized cape. And then we have some more print detailing on the back side of the torso. I know it is a common thing that reviewers say or suggest, but I just wish that this minifigure went a little bit further with just a bit more print detailing. Now, when I first saw this set revealed on the LEGO website, I was like, oh my gosh, it's $100 and it doesn't come with a specifications plaque. It doesn't really match up with the other ones in this series. But then after looking at it further, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It is larger than the other ones, and I guess it's not really part of this series. For example, we have the 1966 Batmobile with the specifications plaque and 2 minifigures, and then we have the 1989 Batmobile, and over here, the animated series Batmobile, which actually came with 3 minifigures. Should this one have come with more minifigures? I don't think so. I don't think it needed any minifigures, other than the Batman, of course. But maybe it should have came with a specifications plaque. Even though it's not in the same scale or size as these ones, I still think they should have provided us with a little bit of details about this Batmobile, or once again, gave it some sort of display stand that it can sit on. And on that display stand, include a specifications plaque. This is the Ultimate Collector's Edition Batmobile from 2006. It comes with 1,045 pieces, so you can definitely tell that the newer Batmobile with 909 pieces is a lot more dense because it's much smaller in size. You can see that this one is actually quite hollow, but the hollowness of it actually powers a really cool feature, which is very commonly found on Batmobiles. The flames rotating out of the back. I think that is so cool. And of course, the wheels rotating triggers that mechanism. Even on some of the smaller models, most of them actually, the flame rotates on the back. So they have that play feature. But the Batman Forever Batmobile is missing that play feature. Look at that. What? Why does it not have a blue flame coming out the back like it's shown on the back of the box? And why does that blue flame not rotate when you push the car back and forth? In fact, there are no play features on this set other than the windscreen, which can be removed to reveal the interior or cockpit of the vehicle, and also this right here. And there is, of course, like layers of building techniques found within this, which is super cool. But when you have a look at the bottom, it's a Technic frame, which just seems to be hollow. I don't understand why they couldn't have managed putting some sort of play feature in this vehicle, because most of the other Batmobiles actually have like a mechanism within them that sort of make them unique. Something that is nice about this Batmobile is actually the print pieces. Right here on the tires, you can see the dishes that have the Batman logo printed on them. Those are definitely pretty cool, and of course you get 4 of them in this set. Also right here, there is a really cool printed trans light blue element, and of course you can pop that open to reveal the guns within. That can be removed like so. It's just an axle that fits into it, and that sort of looks like Batman, doesn't it? Right? The way these tiles are positioned, it sort of looks like Batman, so that's pretty neat. But just the angles on this little mini build, ton of fun to put together. There's definitely a lot of stuff like that within this model. And then we have the large windscreen, which is also printed, thankfully. I like that. Got a nice exclusive print piece found in the set, and that conceals the cockpit. And when you have a look inside the cockpit, you can see some nicely detailed seats that are decorated with the ingot elements. There's a shifter in the middle. That is a bucket handle. There's also a little knob right there in the background, which is a microphone. And then we have some sticker elements that just add details to the dash. So it's a pretty well detailed interior. However, this steering wheel, it's sort of loosely fitted in there. That's not very good, just sort of clipped in place. Feel like that's sort of lazy. And it's also not even connected to the tires. These tires are stationary. They do not rotate in unison. So if I spin this tire, the other one's not going to spin. I sort of wish they were like connected maybe. Or if the steering actually worked, that might be nice too. But when you have a look at it, it is very detailed. And you'll notice that I have a tile missing right there. And what is that revealing? It's actually a bat within the build. Now, despite the fact that this Batmobile doesn't have any of those working features which you would expect it to have, there is some pretty cool stuff, like the bat that I just pointed out there. We can also remove this section here pretty easily. It's just held in place by a jumper, and that's going to reveal some of the engine detail. Got those engine elements there. And I just like all of these curved slopes here. And sorry, curved tiles and curved slopes, because it just adds like a nice texture to the Batmobile. And you can see some more curved slopes on the side of the Batmobile, on either side, of course. And when you remove these, you can start to see more of that layering that I'm talking about. And a lot of that layering is done with the trans light blue elements. So you can just see like the glow of it within. That is super cool. I think it adds like a nice subtle hint of color within the entire thing, essentially. And then we've got this huge Batwing on the back, which isn't a pre-molded piece like we saw in the 2006 version. This is all like slope built, which is super nice. And then we've got these really interesting angles on the back here that was constructed using a lot of those hinge blades. And just the way that this all came together, you started by constructing like the base of it, and then you built different modules that were sort of installed within the base. And it just was like a pleasure to put together. So I think it's really nice in that sense. Now there are some exposed colors on the bottom here. You're gonna see the azure and also the red connector elements. I'm assuming that's there by design because they do stick out. You can see those like very easily when you look at the back, and I don't know if those should be black or not, specifically the red pieces. But then we have our large thruster on the back here, which unfortunately, once again, is lacking that trans light blue flame element. I guess you could just stick one in yourself if you really wanted to. But I just, once again, wish there was some sort of feature back here. It does rotate, so there is that authenticity to it, but it is lacking something there. But overall, the way it was constructed, the angles and everything that you have around the tires and hubcaps and these sort of like bat wings coming off of it, if you will. I'm going to call them bat wings, I guess. And all of these different curved elements with the trans light blue accents sort of buried within the model, and the detail behind that printed piece, and also some of the details found within the cockpit. Even this like back section, see if I can like dissect it. Yeah, like this back section that we had to look at with the red elements there and the large bat wing. And there's all the hinge plates within there to create these interesting angles on the back end. Definitely a great display piece. But it's really going to rattle me knowing that those play features weren't included in this build, and they definitely should have been included. Here we have the updated DC shelf with the new Batman Forever Batmobile. Wow, that's a lot of black Lego right there. You know, I like this set, but as I mentioned, it does have its fault. And when you look at it with all of the other Batmobiles, it seems sort of random. Like it isn't a random scale. It doesn't really match up with the really expensive 1989 Batmobile or the larger 1966 Batmobile or the tumblers for that matter. It doesn't match up with the Playscale tumblers or the Playscale smaller Batmobiles or even these smaller display style Batmobiles. So it is sort of a new scale that I don't think we've ever really gotten before. I'm not really hating on that. That's cool. I think this is like honestly a perfect size. It's a nice difference between, or nice like a mid-size model between the 2006 one and also these smaller ones. So it is a good size, but I think they should have included the features that all of these other ones have, because obviously you have the space to do something like that because it's larger than these ones here. What do you think of this new size of Batmobile? I think it works. I like the fact that I'd be able to fit two of them on a single shelf rather than just one. For example, I can't place this set with that set because there's just not enough room on the shelf. And it's nice having 3 per shelf, but it'd also be nice having 2 larger ones like that. So I do like the scale. I think it presents well. It's a good scale to build in, and it's a lot of fun to construct models that size. And you know, it's a $100 display piece compared to however much money this large one is, or the cheaper version of that one as well. So I think the price point is there for that size, and it displays really well as well. But there we go. That wraps up my review on the Batman Forever Batmobile. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future, and have yourselves a great day. Bye for now.